My name is Elena Whitmore. I'm 30 years old. And I didn't know my relationship was already over the moment my boyfriend used a single word to describe me, like it was harmless, like it didn't change how I saw myself. We met on a dating app, the boring way, the modern way. His name was Nathan Caldwell. Our first conversation lasted 3 hours. Not flirting, not showing off, just talking. About work, about travel, about what kind of life felt right. Within weeks, texting turned into nightly calls. Calls turned into weekends together, and weekends quietly became routines. I thought that was a good thing. Nathan worked in corporate event strategy. Big clients, flashy venues, rooms full of people who wore success like cologne. I worked in software systems design. Quiet wins, stable income, a life that didn't need applause. I thought we balanced each other. For the first 4 months, he made me feel chosen. Then his ex-girlfriend started appearing in our conversations. At first, it was harmless. Claire used to love this place. Claire would have laughed at that. Claire knew the owner. I told myself it was just history surfacing. People talk about their past. That's normal. But history doesn't usually compare. By month 5, the tone changed. Claire always dressed better for events. Claire's apartment had a view. Claire understood the lifestyle. And then one night, standing in front of my closet before a work function, Nathan said it casually, almost thoughtfully. You know, you're kind of basic. He laughed after, like it was a joke. I laughed too. That was my first mistake. The word came back again and again. Basic taste, basic expectations, basic comfort. I started shrinking parts of myself without realizing it. Last Tuesday, we were supposed to have lunch. He canceled. Something came up. I didn't question it. At 3 p.m., my phone buzzed. We need to talk about us. My chest tightened. I called him immediately. I don't think we should talk on the phone, he said. Can we meet later? But later never came. Instead, he said it. He ran into Claire. They had coffee. Nothing weird, except everything changed. I think I've been settling, he said. Settling. I want someone who matches my lifestyle, my ambition. I already knew what was coming. 20 minutes after we hung up, the text arrived. My ex says you're too basic for the life I want, and honestly, he's right. I stared at the screen. That word again. Not angry, not dramatic, just final. I typed 2 words. Good to know. And then I went quiet. The quiet after a breakup is strange when you're not devastated. There was no crying on the bathroom floor, no wine-fueled texts, no dramatic unfollowing spree. I still woke up at the same time, still went to the gym, still answered emails, sat in meetings, solved problems. But beneath all of it, something had shifted. It wasn't heartbreak. It was humiliation. Being left hurts. Being told you weren't enough lingers. For 3 days, I didn't reach out to Nathan. I didn't block him either. I let the silence exist exactly as it was. Uncomfortable, unanswered, unresolved. On the 3rd night, I did something I hadn't planned to do. I texted his older sister. Her name was Megan Caldwell. We'd met a handful of times. Family dinners, birthdays, the kind of polite interactions where you sense someone is observing more than they're saying. Megan had always been kind to me, but distant in a way that felt intentional, protective. I typed the message, deleted it twice, then sent it anyway. Hey Megan, it's Elena. Nathan and I broke up. Just wanted to give you a heads up in case he mentions it. She replied within 5 minutes. What happened? I stared at that question longer than necessary. He said I wasn't aligned with the life he wants. His ex helped him realize it. There was a pause. Then her reply came through. Oh God, Claire again. My fingers went cold. You knew? The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Elena, I'm really sorry. You deserve better than that. That was when I knew. People don't apologize like that unless there's more. How long has she been back in the picture? Another pause. Officially? Recently? Unofficially? She never really left. I sat down on the edge of my bed. Megan told me everything. How Claire would text Nathan late at night, just to check in. How she'd show up at events he attended. How she'd always managed to be around. She kept him emotionally hooked, Megan said. Not enough to commit, just enough to make him compare. Compare. The word made my stomach twist. She's been doing this for years, Megan continued. Idealizing men who treat her badly. Dismissing the ones who actually show up. I thought about the designer suits, the Riverview apartment, the lifestyle. Did he ever meet her while we were together? I asked. I can't prove it, Megan admitted, but I'd bet on it. When the conversation ended, I didn't feel angry. I felt awake. For the first time since the breakup, I stopped wondering what I lacked. Because it wasn't about me. The next morning, I met Rachel Monroe for coffee. Rachel ran a boutique marketing consultancy. We'd known each other professionally for about a year. Industry mixers, occasional lunches, nothing romantic. Just two women navigating adjacent worlds. She smiled when she saw me. "You look calm," she said, which usually means something big happened. "Recently single," I replied. She winced. "Oof, what happened?" I gave her the short version. She didn't hesitate. "Claire Adler?" she asked. I blinked. "You know her?" "Unfortunately, and if Nathan left you for her, I'm sorry, but also, you dodged something." She leaned in. "She's currently seeing at least two men, one of them very publicly." My heart skipped, not from jealousy, but from validation. Rachel pulled out her phone and scrolled. She showed me a photo posted 3 days earlier. Claire, on a yacht, wrapped around a man who was definitely not Nathan. The caption read, "Living the dream." "She rotates," Rachel said. "Keeps options warm. Lets men think they're special." I stared at the photo. An idea didn't explode into my head. It settled. "Rachel," I said slowly, "do you ever go to Arden Street Café?" She smiled. "Oh, this is about to be interesting, isn't it?" I smiled back for the first time in days. "Yes," I said. "It really is." Arden Street Café was Nathan's favorite place in the city. Not because the coffee was exceptional, it wasn't. Not because it was quiet, it never was. He liked it because it looked right. High ceilings, exposed brick, matte black fixtures, people who dressed like success without needing to explain it. It was the kind of place where laptops were accessories and conversations were curated. Claire loved it too. She'd dragged me there so many times I could have walked in blindfolded and still found the corner table by the window, the one Nathan always insisted on. Rachel didn't need much convincing. "Saturday, around 2?" she asked. "That's when she usually shows up," I said. I didn't say why I knew that. I didn't need to. Saturday came faster than I expected. At 1:45 p.m., Rachel and I walked in together. We ordered drinks, sat at the window, leaned in close enough to look intentional without crossing a line. Rachel was good at this, warm, expressive, effortless. To anyone watching, we didn't look like coworkers or acquaintances. We looked like momentum. At 2:07 p.m., Claire walked in. She was with two friends, laughing loudly, already mid-story. I recognized her immediately. She hadn't changed much, still polished, still composed in that way that suggested confidence but required constant maintenance. She didn't see me at first. Then she did. I watched the exact moment it happened. Her eyes swept the room, landed on me, widened just enough to betray surprise. Then she saw Rachel touch my arm while laughing, saw me smile, openly, freely, without checking myself. Her expression flickered. Surprise, confusion, something like hurt. Then neutrality snapped into place like armor. She whispered something to her friends. All three of them looked over. I lifted my hand in a small wave. She didn't wave back. Instead, she walked toward our table. "Elena," she said, like my name was something she needed to test out loud. "Claire," I replied evenly. She glanced at Rachel. "Hi." Rachel smiled politely. "Hi." "How do you two know each other?" Claire asked. "We work in overlapping fields," Rachel said smoothly. "Grab coffee sometimes." Claire's eyes returned to me. "You moved on quickly," she said. I didn't flinch. "I didn't move on," I replied. "I went out for coffee." Her jaw tightened. "Can I talk to you?" she asked. I looked at Rachel. "Be right back," I said. Outside, the air felt sharper. "So," Claire said, crossing her arms. "Is this a thing now?" "No," I said calmly. "It's coffee." "That didn't look like coffee." "You broke up with me," I reminded her. "Why does it matter what it looks like?" She hesitated. "I didn't think you'd bounce back this fast." I studied her face. "Claire," I said quietly, "you told me I wasn't enough, that I was too basic for your life. You don't get to be surprised when I continue living mine." Her eyes shimmered. "This feels cruel," she said. I almost laughed. "Cruel would be me telling you that the man you left me for is currently posting yacht photos with another woman," I said. "But I'm not doing that." Her face drained of color. "What?" she whispered. I shrugged. "Check his Instagram, or don't. Either way, it's not my concern anymore." I turned and went back inside. Rachel raised an eyebrow. "Everything okay?" "Perfect," I said, taking my seat. Through the window, I watched Claire pull out her phone. Scroll. Freeze. Her friends leaned in. One of them put an arm around her. They left without ordering. I took a sip of my coffee. It tasted better than I remembered. That night, my phone rang. I let it ring. 10 minutes later, it rang again. I knew it was her without checking. Some instincts don't need confirmation. The third call came an hour later. I was folding laundry when I answered. Elena, Claire said, breathless. We need to talk. About what? I asked, already knowing. About yesterday, about Nathan, about everything. There was a pause. I could hear her swallowing back tears. I made a mistake, she said. I see that now. I closed my eyes. Nathan was just a fantasy, she continued. Something I kept alive in my head. Being with you was real. It was good. I threw it away. You did, I said quietly. Can we try again, she asked. Please. The word please used to work on me. It didn't anymore. You didn't just hurt me, I said. You measured me, compared me, made me feel like a placeholder until something shinier came along. I'm sorry, she whispered. I know, I said, but I deserve someone who doesn't need to lose me to realize my value. She started crying. So that's it? She asked. You're just done? You were done first, I replied. I'm just catching up. She called again after we hung up. I didn't answer. 6 weeks passed. I heard through Megan that Claire and Nathan tried to make things work. It lasted 2 weeks before he disappeared, apparently chasing the same yacht girl Rachel had warned me about. I wasn't surprised. Rachel and I stayed friends. The cafe thing was petty, and we both knew it. But sometimes, clarity comes with a side of drama. I ran into Claire at a work event 2 weeks ago. She avoided eye contact. I didn't. I smiled politely, went back to my conversation, lived my life. Later, I saw her watching me, laughing, existing, whole. She texted me that night. I really am sorry. I hope you know that. I didn't reply. Some apologies arrived too late. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. And some people only realize what they had when they see you moving on without them.